Hi, Jerry Doyle here. This video is on Mig Welding, and it's not talking about any techniques. It is strictly going to talk to you about what it is that you should look out for when you're making a decision on what should be your first welder. To keep it simple, quite honestly, you should get a nice small little welder. If it's the first time you've ever used it, how Mig Welding works is relatively straightforward. You pull the trigger here, the wire gets fed out, it touches the metal that you're looking for, and it has this is your ground to the metal, and there's all sorts of different techniques that you can search on YouTube to express to you how you can go about doing it. But a couple of the different things that are relevant is your temperature setting. All of them have a feed control. On this particular machine, one of the things I had to make a decision on was the limitation of the temperature setting. It only has 4 settings. Minimum 1, minimum 2, maximum 1, maximum 2. My question was the 4 settings going to be enough? And it turned out, yes, it was. When I go to the minimum 1 on this particular machine, I can weld 16 gauge metal without having to worry about burning through. It is tricky. You gotta watch how long you leave the tip on the work for, but yes, you can do something as thin as 16 gauge with this machine. But then the question was, I knew that I was going to want to weld up to a 1/4 inch thick metal. This is where it becomes questionable as to what kind of machine to get. Again, if you're starting out, you're probably not going to want to weld 1/4 inch thick metal, but if you really wanted to get to that point, this was a really good machine to do it. Now, this machine has 2 different kinds of things that you can use here. One is that you can use it just strictly with the wire feed, or you can add a tank to it and add gas to it, which blows out around the nozzle and makes your weld a lot cleaner. Now, I'm going to show you the 1/4 inch metal that we were able to weld. If you come in and zoom in on this. Now, I know a lot of you professional welders out there are screaming right now at your screen, yes, this is an ugly weld. Okay, this is literally, however, my very first weld. And that's something that those of you who are starting out shouldn't be afraid or be worried about how it comes out. Play with it, have fun with it. Key thing for me is I knew I was going to have to weld at least up to 1/4 inch steel, and this machine did it. It is a 240 volt machine, however, so keep that in mind. If you are using just for home a 115 volt machine, because you only have access to 115 volts, you probably won't be able to weld up to a 1/4 inch. You'll probably have to stick with something as thin as 1/8 of an inch. For some machines that may be tricky to do. Again, I can only speak from my experience with this one. It was great, worked out really great, and was able to do the variable metal thicknesses I wanted. On to masks. This is the mask that comes with this machine. It sucks. I'm pretty confident that this is really a throwaway mask that they've just got to put in there for liability reasons, probably. Here's the mask that I got and that I would recommend, especially for those of you that are beginning. Some of you that are just starting to dabble to MIG would probably say, well, maybe I'll just get a $15 or $20 helmet to start with. No. Enjoy yourself. This was a $100 auto darkness filter built into it, and what that means is that you can see through the lens here without any problem and be able to guide your gun tip right to the where you want to weld. And then when you pull the trigger, the sparks and the brightness starts happening, this darkens right away. It makes it really easy for you to work on, especially when you're beginning and you want both hands free, and you don't have to flip the mask up and down or pull it off to the side. You can stay focused on the work. Another nice thing that I was able to get from Princess Auto, I think Princess Auto should change their name to Toys R Us, but that's another story. Here's a really cool apron I was able to get. I was able to get leather gloves and everything from that place. Again, you want to have clothing like this to protect yourself. That's pretty much it. Last thing I will say is this: when you are welding and you're starting out, it's extremely important that you're in a ventilated area. We're right here in our spray booth, so we've got a really powerful exhaust to pull out the gases that could come from welding. I can't recommended strongly enough that whenever you start doing this kind of welding, that you are in a really well ventilated area. Take care of your health, take care of your eyes, and have a good time working with steel and with metal. All the best for now. Take care.